Hi folks, and welcome to Mugello Circuit. This little cheeky rascal is very fun in a high downforce car, so let's try and help you get them lap times lower. Yes, we are here at Mugello. This is a Ferrari-owned circuit, so yeah, I don't know what that means, but it's just owned by Ferrari. I didn't know you could own a whole circuit like that, but who knows, you can indeed. This is a little cheeky rascal. There is a lot of high-speed corners through here and some very awkward chicanes with yellow sausage curbs on them that do not go well with this car. Avoid anything yellow, including yellow cars, because they are dangerous, and especially green cars, but mine's almost green, so I'm not that bad. Anywho, this is a fantastic little circuit for a high downforce cars. On GT cars, it's a bit more poop, but I like it in the high downforce stuff anyway. Again, mention the yellow sausage curbs. There they are on the chicanes. Avoid them. Get close to them, but avoid them. I'm giving the tips away already, but this is a very, very fun circuit, as I mentioned again. Generally, there's only one overtaking opportunity, which is a bit annoying. That's down into turn one. There are other places that you can send it up the inside. Bear that in mind. There will be some dive bombs in some of these sort of hairpins. I suppose they're called hairpins because you do sort of do over like a 100-degree turn on yourself, so it is kind of a hairpin. Prepare for dive bombs in there. It will happen. I see this race as a massive, massive, massive game of survival because people will be getting off tracks left, right, and center. People will be spinning left, right, and center. People may even get DQ'd because it is very easy to gain all of those X's to get us a DQ as well, which is 17 in these races. But nonetheless, this is where we're going for this week's track guide. Now, the settings on screen are the settings that I use for the two sessions that I do. Yes, two. We do a dry and a wet. The rain is not scheduled for this week in iRacing of Season 3, but who knows, if you are watching this in the future, there may be some rain. So I include it so it's a bit more future-proof for you, so you can at least have a go in the future where it might rain. It's Italy. It might rain. Who knows when we go back here, but it needs to say it is there. Talking about the rain, the wet weather is a crafty little sausage. A lot of these places here, well, it's a lot of chicanes, basically. There's a lot of chicanes, and you have to cross the racing line, which is notoriously slippery in the wet. So doing that and preparing for the snap oversteer or understeer that you do getting on the rubber line is going to be absolutely key if you are doing this in wet weather in future seasons to come. If you are going to watch the whole video, and I obviously like you that you would because of YouTube algorithm, please like and subscribe. That would be awesome as well. But let's crack on with the breakdown laps. Right then, Mugello, very good circuit this in the high downforce car, as I mentioned in the intro, but we are hunting down for turn one. It's a long run down from the start-finish line, by the way, so expect dive bombs on turn one, lap one, but we are hunting for the 50-meter marker, probably a little bit earlier on lap one, but we're hunting for that line there just before it. Brake nice and heavy in a straight line and turn in. Let the car slow down while you're going around there. This is why you'll be cautious of dive bomb, because you do leave the door open. Nice late apex, get on full throttle once you give that curb a little cheeky tickle, and keep the car on the far right-hand side. Now, as we join onto the curb, and as the curb ends about now, that's where we want to turn in. Little lift, little drag of the brakes, avoid the sausage curb, try and compromise this one, stay far left to really open up this one. The idea of this one is to stay on full throttle around it. You see I have a lift there on the telemetry, so not ideal, and I almost get an off track around there. Silly little off track if you do go too wide off the curbing there, so be warned. Bring it over to the right hand side now, that white bit on the wall as our 50-meter marker. After it, brake, we're turning in just a dab of brakes. I do clip the yellow sausage curb. It's not too bad. We get away with it. But again, same principle. Want to compromise the first one to really maximize the second one to give us a little bit of boost down this little straight. Now, this is where the fast corners come in, and the overtaking through here is going to be dangerous, let's be honest. The service road there is our turning marker for this. Absolutely flat out. Cut the corner. You'll be absolutely fine. Don't cut it too much. I think there's a slowdown there. I didn't find it, but anyway, it was there. This corner, be very careful of that curb and that bump, and also on cold tires, the rear end is very, very sketchy through there, so be warned. Up into sixth gear now, and the curbing here on the left hand side, just as we get to the first red bit, start turning in for this one. Nice, easy on the steering wheel through here. Don't touch the curb. We're trying to maximize our speed now. We're uphill. I did find sixth was better than fifth through here. The open setup will be different, so bear that in mind. As the curb ends, we're turning in for this one. Again, this one's a little bit tighter. We're finishing the uphill section, so you can use a little bit more angle on the steering wheel. Don't run too far wide. There is an off track if you use too much curb, so be warned. Right, downhill braking zone now, and we're using a teeny tiny little bit of extra green bit on the curb, just there. Like, you can just about see it. Brake nice and gently. Do not lock a tire. Easy on the yellow sausage curb there. Be warned. Again, compromise the right-hander to really open up this left-hander. Again, get close to the first sausage curb, and be careful of the exit here as well, because there is another off track. Another downhill brake zone into a long hairpin. You do leave the door open on this one, but we're using that line there, which is the 50 marker. So again, brake nice and deep into the corner. Let the car slow down naturally, and let the car ease it into the corner. As soon soon as you find the front end bite about now, get back on power and you will get that nice sort of sweeping through angle here. Don't need to go all the way out to the left-hand side because this far chicane here, you don't need to worry about it, but you want to try and maximize your speed through it. So trying to open it up and minimize your steering angle is going to be really, really optimal. Through that, not a problem. Don't worry about it. We're worrying about this last corner now because slipstream is going to be an issue coming out of this corner. So braking point is that white marker in the wall there. So just as we get to it and the curb ends, starts turning in and I brake towards the outside. This is where it's dangerous for dive bombs because people will stick their nose up the inside. It doesn't matter too much. You gotta get in the late apex here. As long as you get on throttle as soon as you can, you should be able to outrun them. It's a good corner go to wide in, but it will be a drag race. And this straight is surprisingly long. This is sort of normal racing speed now, and we're still not there. We're still not there. We're still not there, and now we're getting there. So it's a very, very long drag for the line. So bear that in mind. Right then, on to the wet weather, and this is a different kettle of fish because it is terrifying. We have to cross the racing line a number of times and you will watch the back end of the car step out. So this line here, just after it on full speed, you will get it. So after it passes the back of the car, brake nice and easy, go really, really deep into the corner, and you can see sort of the normal racing line there, shining like a mirror. You want to try and avoid it through these corners, but you will cross it, and when you do, you will notice it. Again, go around all the way around the outside. There's surprisingly a lot of grip out there, but again, be gentle on the throttle through here in the wet, and try and be offline as you're braking. So we're doing the sort of start of the curbing here. I brake, and I go around the racing line. I'm normally on the curb, but don't want to get anywhere near it, and this is where we have to switch back to the left-hand side and then go all the way around the racing line around here. I do get a little bit of snap as we start getting close to the racing line, sort of about now, and it does put it onto the curb. This curb is very, very slippery, so be cautious. There is a few little puddles down there, so be very, very careful there. Once you're off it, full throttle, middle of the track for this one, and we're braking just before the 50-meter marker again, as we did in the drive, but again, much, much more gently and a lot longer braking zone. I do get close to the racing line here because I'm trying to get like as far left as I can, get a lovely snap of oversteer to help me, and then all the way around there. See, I'm very, very ginger on the throttle, very, very gentle. I'm touching the curb again, which I don't really want to do, but again, I'm being cautious and getting full throttle after I get off the curb, sorry. This one now, we're waiting for that guy who's standing in the rain. No idea why he doesn't have a brolly, but that's our turning point, and we touch the curb on the way in, loses the rear, but we want to go all the way around the outside. Again, switch over the racing line, go all the way around out the outside of this corner to get the grip. You see I'm very, very gentle on the throttle, just teasing the car around nice and gently. Big snap of oversteer as we get to the rubbered in line. So this is where you do need to be careful. This turn, I've short shifted into fifth because I want to go all the way around here. And again, easy on the throttle. I'm just holding the pressure to keep my speed consistent so I know the grip levels are consistent with the aero and things. I'm on the racing line at this point, but again, I'm turning in very, very late here, just at the end of the curbing. Easy on the throttle. I'm not using any markers through here because generally it's just a feeling of what you're feeling through the steering wheel. Very, very awkward through them fast tires. Middle of the circuit now, we're using that white marker, which is the 50 marker, which is very useful putting on the walls. Thank you for that. Again, braking nice and deep into the corner. Trying to keep onto the racing line, but you see I understeer. Why? Because I really want to open up this second left hander like I did in the dry, getting off the rubber racing line and getting on this dirty side, get loads of grip around there and start feeding in the power. I do touch the curb a little bit, but at this point I know the car's safe because the wheels are straight, so I can accelerate in a straight line. If we're still turning, definitely wouldn't do it. So keep middle of the circuit for this one, and we're using that white line over there on the far left hand side. Again, brake nice and gently, go deep into the corner, cross the rubberized line, be careful not to get to wiggle, and then really crank on the steering around the outside where there's lots and lots of grip. Feeding the power as gently as you dare and what you feel through the steering wheel, and just be careful about rejoining the rubberized line about here. You can see the car gets a little bit slippery crossing it. Through this one, try and do your best as well to stay off the rubberized line. You see I take a nice wide entry to get the rotation, and then cross the line and then miss the apex curb here as well to get the rotation done sort of after the apex, if that makes sense. This last corner isn't too bad because you can run it all the way around the outside, so just be careful of your braking point on the way in. So a 50-meter marker again, brake nice and gently. I'm going quite deep into the corner and then really cranking on the steering wheel. A little bit of a snap there, a little bit of wiggle, but you can run all the way out here. That's not too bad. Look at my throttle. We're like 50% throttle, building it up now, and there's a lot of grip out there, so we're okay to do that. So really, that corner isn't too bad. Obviously, the racing line is the optimal line in the dry, but in the wet, it definitely isn't. And it's again another long drag race to the start-finish line. So if you did like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.